it was stuff that was going on. Yeah.
Okay, so
I guess, they didn't know I knew about. She had trying to chase out the other men and putting him in a bad situation. I done had to get him out of jail because of what he did to another man or one of her boyfriends. And it's been something else.
okay, so what is it that you're trying to do? What's the main thing? What's the cause and effect? What do you want to do and what caused it? What do you want to do?
I really just want to. I really just want to be able to get this child support stuff done and over with.
Okay. So what did you go down there at all?
No, I called. And like I said, every time I call, I guess for some reason or somehow I get a female and I get a bitter female every time I call.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's been, you know what I mean? It's been kind of, and I don't want to be, ugly with the person because they dealing with it. But I'm just trying to get all this done and over with.
Okay. Okay. So the whole process starts with you going down there. With everything going over the phone, I don't particularly know why would you not go down there, but it all starts with you going down there over the phone. You could be talking to a secretary, as you stated, you was talking to a bitter person. So honestly, it all starts with the petition in the court. Nothing is done over the phone. That's probably why you got the headache that you got. Are there any arrears involved?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. And what did they say about those?
Pretty much nothing, really. Damn.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
much I always say.
How much are the arrears?
I think it's like 7.
And yes, okay. So that's why I always ask for the long version. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to grasp what you. I'm gonna tell you what I see thus far. So I think it all starts with the biggest issue when it comes to us fathers, and I've been there myself. So it's not nothing that you're this exclusive to you. When it comes to the courts, when it's time to go down and all that, we much rather call, because if we go down there's a warrant out for our arrest. That's how we think. It's a paranoia that unfortunately seems to go hand in hand with with court. That's how we think. So a lot of people, one of the things that we do, and it's the reason why people hire us for services, we kind of like manage the situation. We even have a service called Daddy's House, where individuals actually change their address to our address, and we manage all your situation. We manage everything for you. So when a letter comes, we open it. We know the evasive action. We know the things that needs to be said. And the reason for that is to take the burden of getting a letter in the mail saying, oh God, what the hell is this letter for? Because in order to effectively deal with the situation that's going on, you gotta deal with it. You gotta put your hands on it. And calling is not doing it. One of the things that the courts love is when you show signs of intimidation. They love it when you show them that you really don't want to go down there. I told my child's mom, if you ever invite me to court, I told her this in court in front of the judge, if you ever invite me to come down here, please put the key to the building in the letter. I'll be the first one here. I make and help them understand there's no intimidation about this with me. And that is the one thing that they harp on. When you say you're dealing with a bitter, such and such, that's the business. The beautiful thing is to correspond with these individuals with authority. And that's just what we do. So a couple of things. If your son, talking about your son now, if your son did anything to get locked up and everything, what I help men understand is your children are people, and the mother, more so than anything, creates the monster. Men, we don't do that. I will never want to hear my child say, I did this to mommy's XYZ, come help me. I would never do that. I would refer back to her, because when you're on the outside looking in, especially your son is 24 years old, and that's a him thing now. Number one, he should be out on his own now, not.
And I'm glad you brought that up. He wasn't able at that time to be out on his own. And the reason is because she put the apartment in his name. He had an apartment in his name since he was about 20, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So she, you know what I mean? The apartment was in his name.
Mm.
So you have to finish this lease out in order to create another lease.
Or file identity theft charges on the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Period. I've helped about 15 guys do that with that's nothing new. The child has to be the one to say, this ain't me, and file that on immediately, because I don't know how anybody would give somebody a lease to a person for that. How could a person have a lease for 15 years and they're only 24? I don't know how a leasing company don't catch that. The leasing company need to be questioned. If there is a total disattachment, a total narrative of right or correction that wants to be done, there's a lot of room for it right there. Listen, with that being said, I'm gonna say this. When I talk to individuals, I've talked to hundreds of thousands of individuals. There is no story that anybody can tell me in 2023 that I probably hadn't heard by 2004. There's no new stories. What's new is the person that's telling the story. What's new is the attitude of the person that it happened to. If I listen to a person and they tell me they got arrearages, I'm trying to see, where is the get back? There's a very beautiful song by Payback, by James Brown. And I'm looking for the payback. It sounds to me like you dealt with one of those women, street chick, somebody that I'm getting mine and don't have no order in their life, so they put the apartment in the son's name. Well, if the son is living with you, then, like I said, that's identity theft. But it all will go away if the arrears just go away, if the son is really on your team. So, because arrearages can sit there for years. You can pay $10 a month on arrearages. But identity theft, you're going to have to answer to that right now. You're going to court and doing some explaining. As a matter of fact, that's a federal charge. You're not ducking that. You cannot put somebody's lease in somebody else's name. You can't do that. You definitely can't do it. I would tell you a story about one of my clients. His daughter went to get a job at the shipyard. They called her in the office. She went to the interview, and he was wondering why, when they asked her to come in for an interview, he was wondering why they asked him to come too. So he goes to the interview, and they're saying, you had an apartment and utility bills since you was 12. She was like 19, about to hit 20. And they said, that goes against us. That's a security breach here at the shipyard. You can't have bad credit. And they said, we know it's not you. It's impossible for this to be so. You had it for about 7 and some years now. And they told him in front of her, and that's why they wanted him to come in there. In order for her to get this job, she would have to bring charges up on the mother. Because charges is the only way a person will identify the fact that, oh no, it wasn't me. I didn't do this.
Right. We talking about a son and his mother. So I don't know if that's in him to do, because he really just actually, what's this, February? He really just actually finished court January. I don't know.
Well,
It's something I don't know.
well, here's the deal. When the father steps in, if in fact he lives with you and everything, I don't know where the I don't know is. This is how it got to be done. I'm not giving him an option. It's not an option. It's not. It's if we're talking about a son and his mother, then we shouldn't be talking at all. It's you go with your mom then, because one of the things that I tell individuals is men teach beyond the nest. Women teach the nest. If a man has a problem showing his son life, because life is not what the mother told him and what it's cracked up to be, then that's where the man fails. The man needs to be able to tell, and then a son especially. It's like I told my client yesterday. I said, listen, there in fact is no way on this planet that you can tell me that your son doesn't know that his mother is insufficient as being a father. There's no way you can tell me that, because a woman doesn't know how to teach beyond the nest. They don't. I told him there's no way you can tell me that. A son, and he was saying, well, his response to that was, well, we go to court and I try to get, and she won't let me. I said, okay, because his son was still a minor, to be clear. I said, well, I'm glad you decided to do a one-on-one with me, because it's going to pay big dividends. So I asked him, what statistical stat says that the son is better off with the mother than the father? Name one. I said, so if you want to fight with stats. Don't fight with emotion. I said, that's number one. I said, number two, you will have a great time finding all the statistical stats to tell you that the child is in fact worse off with the mother than with the father. So I told him, you're telling me she, when I don't hear you when you say that. I know that's what you listening to. That's the rhyme and reason that you're telling yourself, but you're talking to the wrong one. I don't hear none of that. It sounds like a nice riddle, but I don't hear none of that. So he was like, oh, okay, yeah. So maybe it starts with you sitting down, talking to your son, having that man-to-man part two, because I don't want to say having it, because that will be offending you, because you could have had it. So that's why I said that man-to-man talk part two, helping him understand there's a dimension that you need to step through. And a man is the best at teaching his son because he will, in fact, be the victim of the very things that you were the victim of by another woman. A woman will do 90% of the stuff that his mother did to you, a woman will do to him. As sure as the sky's blue, another woman will do it to him. And who better than to help him understand and to lay out the curriculum for dealing with it than his father? I have a friend of mine married 35 years now, 34, 35 years. And his stepson told him 15 years ago, if you and my mom ever divorce, I'm going with you. Well, why do you think he told him that? Now his son is telling him he got 3 kids by a woman with a banging body. He said, I will not marry. He will not marry this woman. And he won't marry him based on the lessons that my friend gave him. Help them understand every aspect of a female. And he see it. That's why his child's mom cannot get to him, because my friend gave him all the lessons and the curriculum that he'll need in the future, which is now. He gave it to him way back when he was young. And he said, you know, I did it because I didn't want him to ever see me and his mom getting into an argument. And I know he would want to defend his mother.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Okay, so that's where, you know, I think that's where you stand on the issue of giving your child and your family some stability, because 24 years old, you went 21 years, didn't see the child there was no stability in the custody arrangements. So what year did y'all get a divorce? You remember?
I have no idea. All I know is when I got the letter in the mail, I think I went and parted, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, it makes a lot of sense. You know what you were just saying. And I am going to do that. I get it may be a long shot, but I will try to do that and make sure I get that done.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, man, I just really want to try to get all of this out the way. I went about a couple of weeks ago to do a passport. I can't even get a passport. I can't do pretty much nothing.
Well, let me say this to you. um, when you want to bake a cake, you don't just get the ingredients and just put it all in a pan and shove it in the oven.
Right.
It takes steps,
Mm-hmm.
and part of the steps of everything is the full 360 of it. What I've learned in dealing in this is harmony is mandatory. And when you said you will try and get your son, then what about what I said that isn't significant that it should happen as opposed to giving it an option not to happen? Now, that's a rhetorical question because I want to move forward with what I'm about to say. When you talk about not being able to get your passport, that's not the issue.
Right. I know. I mean,
No,
I'm
no,
just saying.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is the process and the whole rigmarole from the first court date to now is the issue. It's
Yeah,
a
I mean, it wasn't even a court date. I've never been to court.
that's a first, my man. I've never
I've never been to court ever with any other child support. With none of this, I've never been to court.
mm, mm,
So you kind of see where I'm at, you know, as far as going there and doing it. I mean, I don't have no problem with doing it, but I never went to court.
mhm,
I was never issued a subpoena. I was never none of the above. I've never been to court.
mm. Yeah, I've never heard of that. That's a new one on me. I don't know how that's even possible.
I've never been to court.
You
Ever.
you probably well, if you party when you got the letter, then that only means that you were aware something was going on. Did you know there was a divorce hearing in place before you got the letter of that you're now divorced?
I didn't receive anything.
Yeah.
Well, like my uncle. Actually, I went with him to get it done. He worked for a particular lawyer in the city that I'm from. We got with his secretary. We got it written up, got it typed up, got it notarized. I signed. I took those papers to her. She signed. I got those papers and took back to the lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to court.
Okay. So it was a non-contested.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well. So your child support case is it still open or is it closed?
Yes.
But
No, it's still open.
so you have to get down there and have that closed with an effective date because the son is not in school or anything, right?
No, it's not.
And he's 24.
Yes.
So that's 6 years, like 6 years. Wow. Yeah. How much is the child support payment every month?
I had it set up for $175.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I never got, like I said, I never got any, pretty much nothing. I think when I actually started he started, I started to just, get him. think he was about 9 years old. And it fell off again.
Yeah. I think what it would start with you is getting an idea, contacting your court, getting an idea of where you're at, because you can't really stand on anything, because phone calls are not going to do it. I would never tell somebody to call, because that is not going to do it. First thing is you got to start getting active in this, because it's just wherever there's no activity, chaos is normally on the other side of that coin. So I personally, with you, I would go down to your local domestic relations and start with getting child support emancipated and see what happens from there. So have you been making payments then in 6 years?
Actually, I didn't. But well, let me say this. I'm remarried now. I do have a 16-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
During the time I was trying to purchase a weapon. Well, actually, before then, it was before this, when she wanted to put a warrant out. All of a sudden now, we was buying a house, and you know you have to have your money in the bank or whatever for so long. They took that money out, so there was like $5,000 that they took out the bank for her to give to her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got locked up for it, it was another $5,000.
And when was that?
Which one? Which one? When I got locked up?
Yeah, when you got locked up.
What's this? 23? I think it was like 2016, 2015, somewhere in there.
2016, 2015. Let's go with 2016. That was 7 years. Well, let's put you right back what you were saying. So you had to pay $10,000 back then.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant the arrears was at least 11 if you paid 10. Yeah. So what are you thinking? You thinking you have a warrant?
No, I don't have a warrant because I bought guns and everything, so I don't have a warrant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So what would be preventing you from going down there this week to put in paperwork to have it emancipated?
Nothing. Like I said, I'm a barber, so it's no problem. It's not like I called in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can go whenever.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So here's what I would like. I would like to extend this conversation till Friday. And you go down there this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you go down there and you put that you want to get your child support emancipated, and you want to backdate it to the date your son turned 18. And so you got to do that, because it sounds like two things. The meter is still running. And another thing, it sounds like there's probably a warrant. It sounds like there's something going on. I just don't know child support to be idled for so long. And if you haven't been paying, then something is going on. And you said you remarried?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to have your wife go down there, that'd probably be a good idea to file it for you or whatever. But you gotta get active on this thing, because when you abandon your situation, that's when a lot of uncertainty manifests itself. And there's just no way I can tell you anything good is going to happen if you just ignored this thing for 7 years, 6, 7 years. And normally when a child turns 18 and a person doesn't want to go down there, it's because they know it ain't nothing good. The average person, they're waiting down there. They spending a night, and when a child turns 18, they're there when the building open, and you're not doing. There's nothing there. So you gotta jump in on that. And what time is it where you're at?
It's 10:47.
Okay. So you're an hour behind me. So I'm going to put you in for Friday. It's going to be a half an hour from Friday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll talk again, and you can bring me up to speed on what's going on, and then I could you'll find something out, and then I can throw some more stuff at you to see how you want to proceed. But you gotta roll your sleeves up.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So pencil me in. Like I said, too, get yourself a pen and a pad and write some stuff down that you may want to ask me or something, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So just go down there one day this week.
Yeah. Go down there and put in. You want your child support emancipated, and you want it backdated to the date your son turned 18. Because if he's 23 now, that's a long time. 23, 24, that's a long time. That means you got child support amounts in that are accumulated beyond 18. You shouldn't have that child support amount. Like I said, if when you get it done, just like text me a picture of it. Like I said, if you don't want to go down there, have your wife go down there, but you got to roll your sleeves up and touch bases on this thing. You got to do that. All right? Okay, my man. Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? What state are you in?
I'm in Tennessee right now.
Tennessee, okay. All right, I'll write that down. Okay, all right, my man.
All right, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem, man. I appreciate you and trusting in me to try to help you out, man. Like I said, you do that, and then it's all about touching bases with this thing. Like I always tell individuals, I know there's a high level of intimidation, but it's only money. You did not commit a crime. You didn't murder somebody. You're not going to get sentenced for 20, 30 years in prison. It's always worth it to get beyond the bullshit. It's always worth it. So that's what you got to start doing. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, brother. You have a good one.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Bye.
Mm-hmm.